to enhance their conspicuity during daytime is an expensive business. Is it necessary in this day of electronics? Clearly, there are areas in restricted waterways where highly visible day marks are a benefit. Some administrations are using fluorescent lights to improve daytime visibility. But I wonder if there is much of a future for major day marks. Do we still need big towers when a light on a pole will provide the same function? Sound signals have been diminishing in their performance over the last 20 years, and I wonder just how much longer are they required. Certainly in Ireland they are gradually being withdrawn. As Raycons have been around for a significant number of decades, I take the liberty of treating them as traditional aids to navigation. The benefits of Raycons are clearly shown on the simulated bridge display in this picture. ATON targets clearly show up and they are easily identifiable on the radar. However, once again, the march of progress takes a hand. In 2007, S-band new technology radars using coherent processing with very low power solid-state, non-magnetron transmitters began to emerge. The performance of these radars in the presence of clutter and other targets is a significant improvement over the old magnetron radars. However, they do not work well with the current Raycons. Tests have indicated that the range of a Raycon can be reduced from perhaps 12, 14 miles down to 4 miles when using an NT radar. There is a need for Raycon manufacturers to respond to this development so that the benefits of Raycons can be retained. All of the satellite navigation systems are vulnerable to interference and spoofing. We often forget the impact that loss of GPS would have. The UK Parliamentary Under-Secretary for Security and Counter-Terrorism recently said that if GPS satellites were disabled, not a single cash machine would work, the Docklands Light Railway in London wouldn't work. I can't take credit for the Docklands Light Rail yet. You would not be able to berth oil tankers, and great chunks of our transport infrastructure would stop. This is because of the timing requirements of most of these systems. Being a terrestrial-based system, totally independent of GPS, eLORAN provides a complementary system for positioning and timing with the potential for worldwide coverage. However, the future of LORAN is in doubt, and decisions are urgently required while the infrastructure still exists. AIS is a fundamental part of the e-navigation concept. Although AIS is far from a traditional aid, it cannot be omitted from a discussion of traditional aids. Message 21 is the ATON message in AIS, and this is broadcast so that it can be picked up by all ships within range. Message 21 contains a variety of information, including the identification using the MMSI number, the station name, the ATON type, the ATON size, and its position. Traditional aids, such as the light and the Raycon, can be connected to the AIS transponder so that the status of the aid, whether it is working normally or failed, can be sent to the ship. On the ship's bridge, this information is then displayed either on the MKD, as on the top corner of this picture, or on the electronic chart, which is clearly far more usable. When using real AIS, there is a real physical ATON to be seen through the bridge window, as well as the AIS symbol on the chart. A virtual AIS ATON can be broadcast so that the ATON symbol displays on the electronic chart, but there is no physical aid present. This could be a very cost-effective way of providing channel marks and for marking new wrecks. However, current thinking is that virtual AIS ATONs have a somewhat limited value, and there may be people here today who would dispute that view. Mariners still like to look out the window and see reality. VTS systems have been established in around 500 locations worldwide in response to the need for modern shipping for safe and efficient navigation. There are a variety of tools available to VTS operators. The emergence of new systems offers a potential revolution in VTS. The need for a variety of organizations to interact with vessels is leading to the development of the concept of vessel traffic management, which would be at a higher level than the traditional role of VTS. And IALA will consider this concept in more detail in the coming work term. The most traditional aid to navigation of all, the mariner, needs to be considered carefully as e-navigation develops. E-navigation sets out to make the mariner's life easier, but does it? Training is needed, and not just for new systems. With GNSS satellite navigation being the primary means of position fixing, there is a risk of the loss of the skills of traditional navigation techniques if there is any problem with GNSS. The prudent mariner uses all available navigation techniques. On the ATON provision side, successful delivery of aids to navigation depends on competent and experienced personnel. IALA EEP Committee is developing documentation setting out the training requirements and certification standards for ATON provision personnel. With electronic displays, different users can set up the display in different ways. There is therefore a need for the S mode, or the standard mode, as advocated by the Nautical Institute. Pressing the S mode button will immediately set the display to a default standard mode. All ships are not necessarily equipped with the latest mariner technology, and the needs of the lower technology sailor should be considered as traditional ATON performance is reduced or modified. So what have we seen? Satellite position fixing will remain the prominent method. Traditional aids to navigation continue to be required to complement satellite systems and provide essential spatial awareness. And don't forget the mariner. Reduce his workload while engaging him in the task, and keep him sharp on all navigation techniques for safe navigation. Whatever method of navigation you use, I wish you safe sailing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, James. The next speaker is Mr. Malcolm Nicholson. He is a light specialist in the field of colour and vision. He worked for the General Lighthouse Authorities of the UK and Ireland in their Joint Research and Radio Navigation Directorate. He's been with them since 2003, joining them after working for the Northern Lighthouse Board in Scotland. He's been an active member of the IALA A&M Committee, as well as being on the roster of experts and the ad hoc working groups for signals, light signals, and conspicuity. He has vice-chaired the working group dealing with the revision of the MBS, the Maritime Voyage System, and contributed to several other recommendations and guidelines during the present workshop. He is currently working on modeling the conspicuity of marine H navigation signal lights. And